Morning to any replayers. Welcome. If you're a replayer, don't forget you can still participate in a variety of ways. If you have a question you want to ask me and you weren't able to do that during the broadcast, find me on Twitter or Snapchat at joannazarach and follow me or join me. Hi Christy, hi Sandeepa, and if you can also still tap on the screen for hearts if anything I say resonates with you. And you can, good morning, top of the morning to you. And you can share, you can, do all kinds of things. So for everybody joining, hello, good morning, and happy Sunday. Oh, it's a beautiful day here in Chicago. I was actually watching somebody on Periscope in Denver, in Colorado, and it was such a beautiful day, and I was very, very jealous. And then I came upstairs and I was like, wow, it's a sunny, beautiful day here in Chicago as well. So if you're new to me, my name is Joannazarach, and I do a daily Money Habits broadcast at 10 a.m. Central Time. Why do is it daily? Because habits are things that should be daily. It's actually much easier to maintain a habit if you are doing it every day versus things that you find difficult. So the more difficult something it is for you, the more I would encourage you to try to do something small in that aspect every single day rather than trying to conquer it, at some future point in time in a voluminous amount of time that it'll take you. So what do I want to talk to you guys about today? I want to talk to you about the evolution that we have when it comes to money and how we view money. So one of the things that we know is that your money mindset is heavily influenced by your upbringing, sort of what were your parents and even your grandparents' beliefs. And you have to recognize that that is really impacting you in terms of how you view money, is how you grew up with money, right? So what relationship did your parents have with money? And like I do, it sounds a little bit, touchy-feely, but look at that. Look at what happened in your childhood, how your grandparents or other adults in your life, how did they influence it? How different situations or especially, crisis, how financial crisis shaped how you view money, and sort of, are you someone who's afraid? Does money bring you fear? Does it bring you anxiety? Is it something you see as, a lacking resource versus an abundant resource? So examine that. So, but the flip side of it is that you have to recognize how your relationship with money changes and it evolves. And one of the things that I want to that the times when you're going through a life transition are actually opportunities, but also very critical that you review that relationship, right? And so what do I mean by life transitions? There are like a few classic life transitions, and not that everybody experiences them in the same order or even in the same way, but as you sort of think about what is the source of money for you through different times. When you're a child, thanks for the hearts. When you're a child, you are relying on, and again, it's a standard, I know there are exceptions to everything, but let's say this is like run of the mill. You will rely on your parents to provide you. They're your source of your money, right? They are kind of the keepers, whether it's through the things that they can get you, what you ask for, whether they're providing the basic things, but even like an allowance or anything like that. As you get a little bit older, you recognize that there are other sources of money outside of your parents, right? When you get your first job, maybe you're in high school, maybe you're younger, you get a paper route, all of a sudden you recognize that the efforts that you put in is the source of money. Now, this is important. The effort that you put in is the source of money because most people see other people as the source of money. That's just not the case, right? When you start looking at other people, like I need you to think about the transition you need to make to mature. When you're constantly looking at other people as the source of money versus your effort as the source of money, that's a big switch. Right? So even as you graduate from college and you're looking for that job, right? A lot of people's idea is, I need to find a source of money from someone else, right? From an employer, right? From a career, from somewhere else. And so as you go, but the important thing that happens during that transition, oh, thank you for the hearts, is that you are coming out of your parental influence and parental home, and all of a sudden you're responsible, right? You're responsible for your own management. So there's a huge transition that happens when you are now responsible for handling your money, for deciding what you want to spend it on, and it's very liberating, right? So appreciate the liberating experience that happens with that. Now, I want to only talk about the two other transitions, and there are more in the future, but the big two transitions that happen is when we join our finances with another person, so we partner, whether it's a short-term partner, marriage, or something, or some other arrangement that you have. When you join finances, when you become responsible for another adult, or they become responsible for you and you join your finances, that's a huge opportunity for you to, once again, examine your relationship with money. And it's an opportunity to evolve, right? It's kind of pushes you into that moment where you say, you know what, let's be more thoughtful about money. And the conversations, as we know, finances is the number one cause of anxiety or disagreement in couples, right? It's very real. And it happens whether you don't have money or you have money or you have lots of money. It happens in every stage because, again, that relationship with money and how you utilize it, it always evolves. So you may have two different ideas of what money gets you, what backgrounds you came with, and what your goals are. So it's very important to, again, seize the opportunity, right? To say, okay, let me see what I can learn from the other person, what they can learn from me. How do we talk about it? How do we move forward? The last transition I want to talk about today is because I think like it's affected me the most. So all those things have affected me, right? And so the implications of which way you go and how you come out on the other end. But having children, I swear to God, has impacted my financial mindset the most. Why is that? All of a sudden, my free time became not free anymore, right? So I joke with people and I say, I know now the value of my time or the value of freedom. It's like about $15 an hour because that's what a sitter costs in Chicago. So all of a sudden this like idea that I'm free and so my time, not just like where I sell my services for an hourly rate, but the reverse of it. The other thing that's happened, so that really affected the budget, our family's budget. But it also made me think longer term about money, and it's really like, the purpose of it, and and I've been evolving, and I'm telling, my kids are 4, right? And I feel like I'm still evolving this idea of what money gets us and what money buys and the legacy idea and the longevity of it. So that's so to me, that's the most recent one. So I'm still feeling it, like how my actions, like what we spend money on, and what we want to buy, because some of them are the big purchases that I talk about, big purchases of life. And so it's really made me evolve. I do think that, so again, like the sources of money, and when you start a business, again, being a business owner, so the evolution of where money comes from and how you can generate it. The other thing that's happened is the technology revolution that's happened. I was thinking about it this morning, I was reading about Teespring, which is a company that does all of the manufacture, distribution, and delivery of t-shirts. So if you have designs and all you need to do is be the creative design and the sales sort of marketing, if you can manage to sell your people on your design of a t-shirt and then they do all the manufacturing, they take a cut, but you can make money. And I thought about how less capital we all need to start businesses, right? So this relationship with money and whether you have money and the opportunity that's presented to you, it's changing, right? Because now the limitation is your creativity and your effort and some time that you're going to put into that versus, 20, 30 years ago to start businesses, you really had to sort of come from or come into some business knowledge, whether you're from family or from an apprenticeship. And it took a really, really long time for you to build up a capital or to find access to capital to do that. It's a little bit of an aside, but it's something that I thought about this morning. And it's just really, it makes me happy that we have so much more opportunity, that everyone, that we have access to this, and it's not quite leveling the playing field, because of course having the equipment and having the knowledge and having the internet access, that's still a barrier. But I want you guys to think about the opportunities that are today. But the evolution, so the evolution will continue, right? Because one of the things that we talk about, and why a lot of people do tune into financial advice, because we have this like idea of retirement, right? And when you're when we talk about financial independence, so this whole idea of financial freedom and financial independence is when you are going to be looking for a source of money from all the work that you've put in and the investments that you made to support you, right? So again, the sources of money will change over time in your lifetime. And what we're building towards, and again, I haven't experienced it, but now in this past 12 months, both of my parents and my in-laws have retired. So it'll be interesting to see through them, like how their experience of money changes, because they're no longer generating an income. They're just relying on that investment, on that buildup of wealth. Thanks for the hearts, to provide them with money. So that's an evolution in itself. And you can experience it if you reach financial freedom. Oh, look, it's a Russian guy. If you reach financial independence or financial freedom earlier in life, rather than just retirement, it'll actually help you figure out how to think about the money that's sitting there in investment and how to live off of investments. So, and again, before you're 100% dependent on them, right? So that's one of the things why I really emphasize investments and learning about investments, because if you are going to have a successful retirement in today's environment in the US, the likelihood that you're just going to have a payment from a pension that's managed by someone else and the Social Security, which we all know isn't adequate, it's going to come from investments. And the evolution of living off of the investments that you have put in and managing it and figuring out how much is enough, it's actually a really, really hard mindset to acquire. And I think when you make that transition so abrupt, when you stop working and stop having income as part of your as part of the money that's being provided from you, and you have to figure out how to like draw from that big pool, hopefully, that you've accumulated, that's a very big mindset switch. And I think it's very, very difficult for people. And there isn't a lot of help available for people, because most people just want to manage your wealth and they don't really want to coach you through how to do that. They're not going to do a lot of hand holding. So do your own hand holding by like practicing that over time. When you have an investment pile and you're saying, I need to learn how to manage it. I need to think about a large amount of money, and how would I do that? So that's why I encourage people to even like look ahead in that transition. I think that's actually the biggest transition of them all, and none of us are prepared, and our parents aren't prepared either. And looks like a huge market opportunity, right? So let's figure out if we can get there, and if we can help people, and if you can help your parents, right? Like one of the things is like all of a sudden, your elderly aging parents are having to deal with it. Like you got to learn. If they're not willing to, like maybe you can learn along with them, or at least see what their experience is like. So anyway, that's the talk to today. And the investment piece, that was interesting because I wasn't expecting